The Vengeance of San Genarro is the third in a series of 18 espionage novels that I, James Ward, penned between 2011 and 2021 under the collective title Tales of MI7. This is one of a series of videos in which I attempt to explain, partly for my own clarification, what inspired my work, what it's about, and what it was intended to achieve. Each individual novel can be read independently, but also as one part of a loosely connected ongoing saga with recurring characters who age, etc. Yet this is probably the most standalone novel of all. It doesn't flow from its predecessor, The Girl from Kandahar, and it has no ramifications for its successor, The Eastern Ukraine Question. It's set in contemporary Venice, and it connects art, crime, religion, and death, which probably doesn't sound like a very promising mix for a spy thriller. I'd recently done a lot of reading about Venice, inspired, if I remember, by Francesco de Mosta's four-part BBC TV series about the city, and it struck me as the ideal setting for an espionage novel, chock-a-block with urban conspiracies and clandestine shenanigans. Which, of course, it was, about 400 years ago. But what about today? That question broadened to include another one. In principle, what sort of topics could the spy novel be used to address? How about anything and everything? In short, The Vengeance of San Genarro became a kind of experiment designed to test the limits of the genre. It's about a young Italian fine artist called Giuditta Cancellieri, an AIDS sufferer with a criminal backstory, but who's also a fanatical Christian and an associate of a formidable villain called Constantius Soper. Whether Soper really is a villain remains an open question, but we'll leave that for now. In any case, Giuditta is scheduled to exhibit a series of pictures at the upcoming Biennale di Venezia. No one's yet seen them, but they're rumoured to somehow compromise a few very powerful gangsters. Exposure isn't a risk they're happy to run, so they begin to arrive in the city. Meanwhile, in London, MI7 dispatches an agent called Gavin Friedman to insinuate himself into Giuditta's circle. They see her as a route to Soper, whom they want to bring to book. But Gavin has problems of his own. His wife recently died and he's still grieving. Regrettably, since he has a fortuitous set of long-standing connections in Venice, is the only plausible candidate for the job. The novel's third character is a 57-year-old Venetian detective called Luigi Fioravanti, who appreciates the city from the inside. The criminal's arrival has been accompanied by a series of unexplained murders, which he obviously needs to solve, calculating that his best hope is to establish contact with Giuditta. Unfortunately, of course, she's unwilling to cooperate. Her mind's on higher things, until someone frames her, that is, then whisks her out of the city in the hope of selling her to her enemies. There's a whole host of supernatural phenomena in here, which won't be to everyone's taste. Giuditta Cancellieri, in particular, is an attempt to create a modern mythological character. When I first posted the novel on Amazon, I was asked to select two categories. Although the first was easy, spy thriller, the second wasn't. I eventually chose mystical and visionary, which was very likely a commercial clangor, although that's never persuaded me to revise it. In summary, anyone expecting a conventional espionage novel should probably steer well clear. In my defense, there are already lots of conventional spy stories to choose from, and most are better than I could ever produce. Over and out.